Well, congratulations on the purchase of your new AT&T Security System 8000. Hi, I'm Bob. And this is my wife, Chris, and my son, Jimmy.
Hello. Hi.
And thanks for inviting us into your home. Now, together, we are going to show you how to use and operate your new System 8000.
And explain how the system will give you the peace of mind that comes from knowing that your family and valuables are protected from fire, burglary, and environmental damage when you're home or away.
And you'll also see how easy it is to use.
Now, since no two alarm systems are exactly alike, some of the features we'll show you may not necessarily apply to your installation. However, the basic operation of your Security System 8000 is essentially the same.
For example, your system should be connected to a central station. That means that someone is monitoring your system 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So if there's a fire or anyone tries to break in, the monitoring station will immediately contact the fire department or the police.
Now, before we begin showing you how to use your system, make sure you have your owner's manual handy. It contains more details than all the information we'll be giving you in this videotape. And from time to time, we'll refer to it and ask you to take a look at it as well.
And make sure everyone in your family watches this videotape, including your kids. Like me, they're going to need to know how to use the system.
So, let's take a look at your new system. Now, the main thing to understand is that the system is designed to detect someone trying to enter your house or any movement within the house when you're home or away.
And if you have smoke or environmental detectors, they'll also monitor your house for conditions like smoke or water. That means that if a fire starts or the sump pump overflows when you're not at home, the system will report it right away and action can be taken before there's significant damage.
And if you have a medical emergency, the system will call your central station for help immediately.
Believe me, this thing reports everything.
Yeah, like when you don't do your homework.
He's just kidding.
Okay, guys, why don't we just go on and show the folks at home how the system works?
Sure. Now, the first thing to learn is how to use the keypad. This is how you manage the system. The system has 3 states, as you can see here: home, away, and off.
Now, when the system is in the away state, all the detectors are activated. When the system is in the home state, the system ignores only your interior detectors. All other detectors remain activated. When the system is in the off state, all openings and motion detectors are ignored. However, all smoke, environmental, and medical transmitters remain activated.
All right, Jimmy, why don't you review that for us?
Sure. In the away state, everything is on. In the home state, the inside of the house is off. And in the off state, the inside and outside are off, but everything else is on.
Great.
Now, to access your system, you have to first enter your 3-digit code.
That's your secret code. And no one can control your system without your secret code.
So you enter the 3 numbers, and then press the state you want.
After you've pressed the keys, your system will immediately go into that state. You do have 40 seconds, however, to change the state without having to re-enter your 3-digit code. It's a good feature if you have, for example, set the system to away and then realize you forgot something. All you have to do is to simply press off within the 40-second margin. Okay, guys, let's give them a demonstration. Let's say we're all going out and there's no one left at home. Okay? First, we enter our 3-digit code and press away and open. So now we have 40 seconds to go out the front door. So we open the door, go out, and close the door behind us. At the end of 40 seconds, the system is set.
Now let's show you what we do when we come home. First, we open the door. Now, as soon as the door is opened, we have 40 seconds to get to the keypad, enter our 3-digit code, and select home or off.
And when we left, Jimmy selected the away state because we were all going out and no one was left in the house.
But when I leave in the mornings, usually Chris and Jimmy stay behind, so I enter our 3-digit code and press home, and then press open. Now that means that all openings are protected, but Chris and Jimmy can walk around the house without disturbing the interior protection.
Jimmy, not in the house.
And home is also what we push at night when we're at home.
And of course, when we want to turn off all the motion and opening detectors, we enter the 3-digit code and press off.
But that doesn't mean that everything's off.
No, only the motion and opening detectors will be off. Our smoke, environmental, and medical detectors will still be activated.
All these procedures, as well as more details about your keypad, are explained in the owner's manual. Now make sure you read it through before you begin to use your system.
Now, Dad, let's tell them about the beeps.
Well, I think your mom is about to explain the beeps at the central controller, okay?
That's right. The beeps you heard every time we use the system are part of a feature called audible confirmation, and they come from the keypad and from this, the central controller. Here, I'll use this portable keypad and show you. When you enter the 3-digit code, the keypad responds like this. Now, if your code is correct, you will hear those 3 beeps. And when you select a state, the central controller will produce a single beep, telling you that you've successfully armed the system. But if there's a window or a door open, here, let me show you. First, let me turn off the system. Now, Jimmy, could you open the back door for me?
Yeah.
There. Now, if I arm the system with the door open, we'll hear 4 beeps. That means that the system is protesting and letting us know that there is an opening unprotected.
And you don't need to run around the house to find the open door. This system is pretty smart.
Yes, Jimmy, this system is pretty smart. And when you hear the 4 beeps, all you have to do is go to the central controller and press the message key. The controller will display a number. Now, you take the list from the back of the controller and look up the opening that corresponds to that number. In this case, number 2 means the back door.
But you can leave the door open and still turn the system on, right, Mom?
That's right. The 4 beeps simply tell us that an opening is unprotected. However, we sometimes want to turn the system on while we're at home and still leave a window open in a bedroom at night. Jimmy, for example, likes to sleep with his window open. Now, in that case, we put the system in the home state. Now, the controller gives us 4 beeps and ignores that particular opening.
And sometimes it gets cold later on, so I get up and close my window.
And when he closes his window, it's automatically accepted into the system. After that, if anyone tries to open it, it will set off the alarm.
But those aren't the only beeps you might hear. There's more. Take it away, Dad.
Yes, there are more beeps. Now, when you come home and open the door and the system is armed, you'll hear a series of reminder beeps like this. Now, that's the central controller reminding you that you have 40 seconds to disarm the system before the system sets off the alarm.
And now let's listen to the different sounds for different alarms. The smoke alarm sounds like this. A continuous tone. The burglar alarm. One long tone followed by silence. The medical alarm. One long tone followed by 3 short ones. And the environmental alarm. 8 short beeps. And all the alarms sound for 10 minutes unless you cancel them, and we'll show you how to do that later.
A very special alarm we hope you'll never need, but you should know how to use, is the panic alarm. Now, there are 2 kinds of panic alarms. One you can hear, and the other is silent. And why 2 kinds of panic alarms? Well, for example, now let's say Jimmy's home alone, and he sees someone in the backyard trying to get into the house. Now, all he has to do is go to the keypad and touch the 2 red squares at the same time. Now, he can also press the key on the universal transmitter if it has been programmed as a panic alarm. And that will set off the alarm, and more than likely scare the intruder off. If you are connected to a central station, the central station will call you first to find out if they should send the police. If you want them to, or they don't get an answer, they will send the police. The second kind of panic alarm, the silent one, will only work if you are connected to a central station. Now, if you are connected, you can send a silent panic alarm without anyone else knowing it. And we call this the ambush feature.
Dad, why don't we show them the way you showed me?
Sure. Now, let's say someone has come in and forces you to turn off the alarm. Okay, Buster, now turn that alarm off. Now, obviously, Jimmy is going to want to do what I say, but he also wants to let someone know that I am here. So all he has to do is to enter the 3-digit code in reverse. Now that will let the central station know that there is a panic alarm and that you are being watched. Now, they'll immediately call the police and tell them the situation, so the police can handle the call with special attention. If you're going to practice this, call the monitoring station first and let them know you're just practicing.
Now let's take a look at some particular situations. For example, suppose the system is armed and someone comes to the door, like a delivery. Jimmy, why don't you pretend that you're the pizza guy?
Okay.
As I said, pretend that the system is armed in the home state and someone comes to the door. Okay, Jimmy. Go ahead, honey. You show him.
Okay. Now all I do is enter my 3-digit code and press off. Open the door.
Here's your pizza, sir.
Well, thank you very much. You pay him.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Close the door and then enter my 3-digit code and press home to arm the system again.
Mom, Dad, let me in.
Oh, here's another common situation. Let's say your system is armed and you want to open the door for a little while, like to let someone in. Go ahead, honey, show them.
Well, if you need to open the door for less than 40 seconds, you just enter the 3-digit code, press home, then press open. Now you can open the door and let the person in. The system will then continue to be armed.
Now, if you need more than 40 seconds, enter the 3-digit code and press off.
And the next thing we're going to talk about is pets.
Right. Now, if you have a dog or a cat and you want to leave them at home, you can leave the pet upstairs and block him from coming down to the motion detectors. If you do that, you can set the system to the away state. Or you can let him run around the house and turn the motion detectors off by setting the system to home. Or if you want to, you can call the installer and he can create in the motion detectors what they call a pet alley. Now this will allow your pet to walk freely around the house without triggering the system. And that way you can set the system to away.
Now let's talk about what you need to do if you set off the alarm accidentally. Let's say we've set the system to the home state and someone opens the window. Jimmy, go ahead.
Well, first, don't worry about it. And let me tell you from experience that it can happen until you get used to the system. But if you do set off the alarm accidentally, you can turn off the audible alarm simply by entering your 3-digit code and pressing off.
Now, if your system is connected to a central monitoring station, a representative will attempt to contact you to verify the nature of the alarm. Since each central station has its own procedures for reacting to alarms, your dealer will explain how they treat this kind of situation. In any case, all alarms, false or otherwise, are kept in the memory of the central controller. You can display them by checking messages and remove them by pressing clear display. Now, a typical false alarm is often caused when someone accidentally opens or tampers with one of the transmitters. Regardless of the system state, if someone tampers with any transmitter, the system will both generate an audible alarm and will send a signal to the monitoring station.
Now, if a smoke or an environmental alarm is set off, the system will signal and then it will lock itself out for 5 minutes. Now, that means it will not signal again for 5 minutes.
There are two reasons for this. For example, if we've accidentally burnt something in the kitchen and the house is full of smoke, the system will signal and then give us 5 minutes to open the windows and the doors before it checks again. This way, the alarm doesn't go off continuously while we clear the air.
And the second reason for this feature has to do with the system reporting. And when a smoke or environmental alarm is triggered, the system uses the phone line to let the central station know of the condition. And as soon as it does, it shuts itself off for 5 minutes in case one of us wants to use the phone to call someone or someone is trying to call us. Otherwise, the system would tie up the line.
Now, these are the main points you should know about your smoke and environmental alarms, but as we said earlier, all these procedures are explained in more detail in your owner's manual, so please make sure you read it.
And as with all safety procedures, you and your family should occasionally have fire drills and discuss the escape routes and some other fire safety exercises.
And that's all you need to know about the system.
Well, not quite, Jimmy. That's all the kids need to know, but adults do need to know a few more things.
Okay, then you two do that and I'll be back later.
Okay. Now, one of the things you need to know is how to test your system. You should test the system periodically according to your dealer's recommendations. Your owner's manual shows you in detail how to test all parts of your system, so make sure you read it and follow its instructions carefully.
And the other thing you should know is how the system detects and reports problems. Now, this is a pretty sophisticated system, and if it detects a problem which may affect its operation, it will inform you and the central station.
For example, the central controller will let you know if any battery in the system needs changing. All transmitters, smoke, and motion detectors contain batteries which should last about a year. The system monitors all its components. That is, every few hours, all transmitters report to the central controller. When a battery is near the end of its useful life, the central controller will alert you with a pair of treble beeps, which will sound every 40 seconds. When this happens, you simply go to the central controller and touch the Messages key. If a low battery condition exists, the display will reveal the location number of the affected transmitter along with the low battery indicator. Pressing the Messages key will silence the beeps and they will not occur again for that transmitter. Now, because smoke detectors are so important, the system has a double diagnostic feature. If a battery is low in a smoke detector, it will produce warning beeps on its own before it tells the central controller. That way you will know immediately when a smoke detector has a low battery.
Now, let's change a battery. Step 1, go to the keypad and turn the system off. Step 2, go to the central controller and press the test demo key and keep it pressed until 0 point appears. Step 3, open the transmitter cover, which will trigger the alarm. Step 4, go to the keypad and turn off the alarm by entering your 3-digit code. Step 5, change the battery. Consult your owner's manual for the proper UL listed batteries.
Low battery is not the only problem the system will report.
That's right. Now, the system can also report what is called a no check-in. Under normal conditions, each transmitter periodically checks in to the central controller so that in the event a unit does become defective, it will be discovered and reported before a serious failure can develop. If this happens, the central controller will again let you know something is wrong with 2 beeps every 40 seconds. As with the low battery, you can stop those beeps by pressing Messages.
Now, if you're connected to a central station, the system will automatically notify them of the trouble condition. If you aren't monitored, you'll need to call your dealer for a service visit.
Well, have we covered everything the system will report?
No, there is one more thing. Now, when you come home, the system lets you know if an alarm was activated sometime in your absence by producing these troubled beeps every 40 seconds. The beeps can be silenced by pressing Messages.
And that is your system. Now, please make sure you read the owner's manual and that every member of your family who'll be using the system has an opportunity to see this videotape.
Are you done?
Yes, sweetheart, we are. And now, Bob, Jimmy, and I want to thank you for going through the system with us.
And if you have any questions, please refer to the owner's manual or contact the security professionals who installed your system. They are professionals trained to meet your individual security needs.
And we wish you safe and worry-free days with your new AT&T System 8000.
Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.